This is going to be your one-stop video guide to how to begin trading for complete beginners. We're talking about right out of the box, how to get started in the market, guys. Let's get into it because there's a lot to cover here. Where do we go? Where do we start right from the beginning?
So everyone wants to know, what is that first step if you want to become a trader, if you want to develop a strategy, you want to make some money. And I say it a million times, guys, paper trading. You know, maybe you have the advantage of sitting on a trading floor like ours at Day Trade the World, where you might be in a simulator when you're a trainee in a structured atmosphere. But for most traders, you're just starting out. You don't want to throw money into your own account while you're testing things out. So the question becomes, what is paper trading? It just simply means not executing positions with real capital, but observing actual market data and moves. So you're looking at actual charts where you want to be taking advantage. If you can take advantage of watching an actual level 2 and a time in sales to see real stock movement, then you should be doing that. And then from there, you would deploy your strategy. Let's just simply say, imagine a perfect trade here, the 42 bottom, Sean, on AMC, and you might go long at 42.5. So you make sure that there was an actual amount of shares here, and the stock was at a price that you could have taken it in this position. You chart your results. You don't actually have to write it down in paper. This is obviously 2021. You can use a spreadsheet for that if you'd like. You get your entry point there. And then you simply note what your out would have been. Is it ever violated? If it's going to be maybe back down to 42 even. If that price trades below, you know it's a losing trade. You can mark the duration of trade that you had. And then you simply record your results. Now, the key thing about paper trading is to be honest. If you're making real executions, and these are my live executions in the real market, my true P&L is going to tell the story. I can't fake it. But in paper trading, the onus is on you, if you want to learn and develop, to actually record the true results. You can't make it up or throw up, be like, yeah, I changed my mind. I wasn't going to take that fill. Oh, I would have held it through that stop level. It's easy to make those mistakes and to do it because it's not real trading. So you get out of it what you put into it when it comes to paper trading. It is 100% the way to start. Learning on zero capital is obviously cheaper than throwing money at the developmental stages, because I can't tell you how many traders I know that blew up multiple accounts before they had any success. So you want to limit some of that.
No, I mean, 100%. I would think that that's step one, how to start for beginners, paper trade, right? If you don't understand what Neil just said there, it's basically go into simulator mode. Like just go back and back test, right? Use Excel spreadsheets, talk to friends, talk to, just figure out what's working for others and then see if you can make it work for you. And that brings me to point number 2, guys. Free learning, find a mentor, read books. Study online. There's so much you can do as far as, and Neil's going to have some examples here as well about, looking at market guides, understanding your market, things like that. I actually do something here, a little cheap promotion here. We actually do the sticky note, what's called, look up hashtag sticky note or follow us on Twitter. Like, we don't have to be your mentors, but that's the point. Neil and I both, 19 years experience, 17 or 18 years experience, 10 years experience, Brendan. We all have experience trading, and I think that you may not follow us exactly. You may not say, okay, I like that trade that Neil's in, or I like that idea that Sean mentioned, or whatever. But the point is you got to try to get into other traders, psyche a little bit, figure out why they went long, why they went short, what kind of situations are they looking at here? I mean, I have an example here on CCL. I always short in front of major levels, right? So $30 was a big level, so I shorted out. This is the way I trade. I get out piece by piece. So that's an example that I try to preach on the show, is discipline and making sure that you capture profit when they're there. Neil talks about looking at gift horse in the mouth, things like that. So you want to learn from common failures and practices of just your mentors, or not even just your mentors. How about your peers? I mean, I think that's why we release TraderTV.Live for free on YouTube. We give our watch list for free every single day. You can find that at watchlist.tradertv.live. And we're putting in the work for you. So we're trying to find the names that are moving, why they're moving, and how to possibly trade them. So you put everything together, and there's so many resources. We're just one. There's so many more out there where you can look and say, hey, you know what? I'm a beginner trader. There's no way. You look up the statistics. What is it, like 95% of traders that deposit money into an online account eventually lose everything, right? So you got to figure out your style, you got to figure out management, and I think number 1 and 2 very much go hand in hand. You know, paper trade and practice, but practice things that work. Practice ideas that you believe you have a grasp on, you have a handle on. That's the successful part.
It's so important to find help along the way and do it quickly. So many retail side traders, you know, find themselves struggling month after month after month, and they never reach out. They never really find the keys that are needed to take that next step. So very, very good point. It's so important to find help along the way as you go through this process. Let's move on to the next one. And we touched on it a little bit already with paper trading, and that is track your results. It's very important to understand what makes sense to you as a trader and what you do well. And the way you find that out is by tracking your results.
And the key thing about tracking your results, and look, it can seem relatively simple. It's like, okay, well, I got in, I got out, you know, I made a 50-cent gross win or whatever it might be. And I'll just stick with the same example. I had AMC up anyway, so we'll just use this. And, you know, that 42.50 I got in, I took some out for in front of 43. That's a 43 cents a share profit. And then you get out some here at 43.70. And you can simply plot those results as if it's all the same thing. But let's imagine something here. Let's imagine an idea that this long was taken, which is off a pre-market high, a breakout trade at 9:30. And then this trade is a dip buy. Right? Like, yes, I can have my overall P&L on AMC, the gross amount that I've made, or I can start to think about, oh, these are two separate types of ideas here. One was a breakout trade on AMC. Another one was buying the dip. Now, that setup and buying the dip could be one that I'm also using on, you know, GameStop tomorrow or on Chewy on earnings. So you might want to record that as a separate result. So you take each individual trading strategy and then record your results on an individual basis. I can't tell you how many traders I know who simply say, oh, I make this much per day on GameStop. I had this many positive days, but you're literally deploying 2 or 3 different styles of trade. Like I have a trade setup that I use in the mornings. You guys watch the show where I like to short off of pre-market highs. I like to see at 9:30, is there a break of a pre-market high and a failure through that price? You then short the next consolidation down. That, for me, I might distinguish between stocks that have ridiculously low floats and high float, but outside of that, those results all come the same. And it's a different stock almost every single day that I'm deploying it on. So make sure you are not just recording raw P&L. Divide those strategies up. More data is going to be better for you. You never want to overanalyze. But you also want to make sure you're compartmentalizing specific strategies and be willing to adjust them. Do not stop recording just because you've had some success. The market is fluid, it's always changing, and you need to adapt with it.
Yeah, and I don't want to, you know, like you just said, overanalyze things and look too much in detail, but our broker actually, we trade through Day Trade the World here, who we execute through. You know, they have very, very, you know, easy to find tools. And I think that this is something that you're going to have to look for on your own. But I think this is pretty important, man. Like trader analysis. Look, you can go trader versus symbol. You know, what symbol maybe are you trading on well, you know, or not well? What about time, right? Like, do you trade better in the morning? Do you trade better at the close? When do you trade the best, you know? And I think that will also help you. There's a whole bunch of different things here, different markets, you know, North American, Asian, there's Europe. There's a whole bunch of different opportunities for you to look back and analyze your trading. And I know that for myself. You know, I love to trade early on, you know, take those breakouts in the morning, play the momentum. And then in the afternoon, I tend not to do as well trading. So that's, again, taking time to figure it out. Maybe you don't do as well in the afternoon, but maybe you would if you just looked at a different strategy, right? Don't try to hit those home runs if the market doesn't give you those home runs. So there's different ways of looking at it, and I think if you can sort it by style or symbol and then time, that also helps. So I think those are 2 little tips there, Brendan.
Yeah, so we've gotten to a point now where we understand a little bit about what we're doing well because we've gone out and had that help, and now we're tracking our results to emphasize the positives here and understand on the other side of things what is not working, so you can throw those out the window and not waste your time on them. On an ongoing basis, then, the next step, guys, and it's so important again, and that is have someone, or, you know, in the case of Trader TV Live, a community, an entire community that you can converse with and bounce ideas off of, and talk through maybe trading issues that you may be having. Having that resource is priceless, guys.
It really is, because it's almost like in one of my favorite books of all time for trading is like Thinking in Bets by Andy Duke. I always like to throw it out there because it's not a trading book. It's about decision making. And one of the key points there is have somebody that you can talk to that will be honest with you. And not just simply like be a yes man, that someone's willing to combat your ideas. It's not always about playing devil's advocate. Sometimes it's just having a different outlook. So, the three of us have different trading styles and personalities of trade. So every now and then, and sometimes it'll happen on the show when Brendan's talking or right after, I'll turn to Sean, I'll be like, I can't believe I did this, blah, blah, blah. And then he'll say, this is what I saw over there. And this is what you want to be able to do here. And I've seen some guys in the chat say, it's like, yeah, why'd you have, I was looking at the same area short, like why did you have your stop there as opposed to this, as opposed to that? And I'll give a reason and maybe it's wrong, and then, they'll throw it back at me, and that's the kind of development you want. If someone just said, oh man, that was great, good entry, good exit, and everything you say they agree with, that's probably not going to help you too much. So that's the value of having a diverse community there. I think it's a gigantic advantage. Because most traders, and let's be honest, right? Like you guys, if you're sitting here and you're trading by yourself, and maybe you're at your home or you're in your home office, and you don't have that sense of community, everything is on your shoulders, right? Like you don't have that. You can have someone in your family, hopefully that you can talk the ideas with, but they might not be a trader. They might not understand exactly what you're going through, exactly what you're talking about when it comes to executing trades, and some of the pitfalls like fear of missing out that we've talked about, FOMO, when it comes to revenge trading. So you want someone that understands a little bit of that, and then you can learn from each other's mistakes. It's very, very important. It's one of the reasons why, we're with Day Trade the World, where there's a trading floor, and that's a gigantic advantage, right? So I'll sit here candidly telling you, you guys that are trading, maybe sitting at your home as a retail trader, that I've grown with this advantage of being able to build ideas around in a community. So one of the reasons why we're passionate about giving that to other people is because it's led to our personal success. So it's a very personal concept for us, and we just want to be able to share it. So the community is huge. Learn from the mistakes of others when you can.
Look, I mean, great, absolutely great. And I just wanted to say one more thing here, and that is that if you're a beginner trader, understand one thing, and that is that the market is forever changing, right? So you're not going to be able to sit down one day and just everything that you did last week or last month or even yesterday will work again, right? So patterns may still work, right? But momentum and then just the way the market changes, like this earnings season, maybe they all beat and all year longs are fantastic, right? Heading into earnings season. But then is that going to be the same trend next season? Is it going to be a cyclical trade? Like we're running through inflation right now. So the metal stocks like Cliffs and some of these stocks are just ripping up like crazy, while, the high growth stocks tend to struggle in this period, right? So you got to understand that the market's forever changing, and, what worked yesterday, what worked, like I just said, weeks, months ago, may not even work the next minute, let alone, the next couple years, right? Obviously, we're going to look more at a smaller time frame than longer, but just remember the market's always changing, and that has to be a part of your game plan.
4 simple steps there to follow to ensure your success when it comes to starting trading. If you are able to follow those successfully and stick to that process, give yourself enough time to get through to the end of the process, but to a point where you understand what is working for you and what you can do on a daily basis in the market successfully. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that and learned something. Let's go to Valeria.
Hey guys, thank you for this informative content. Dear viewers, please subscribe to this channel to see more great videos.